Let's take a look at the home screen here first. Uh, if you're ever wondering what software version or things you're running, under the information page, I'm running the HMI version 342, and I have a PLC version, this control software version, of 20110718. So if you're ever talking to your service guys, those will probably be a couple questions they ask you. Back on the home page, we can turn on the hydraulics and the servos and the clamping. This will let us origin our machine. So right now we can go into the origin page. Right now I have my machine set up in the virtual world, so what you'll see here is this switch column, how the lights go green. This is simulating the switches on your back gauge. So you can test your switches on the back gauge just by having somebody go to the origin page, look at this screen, and when you manually trigger the switch, you should see the light go off and on. This column over here says if an axis has been origined yet. So to origin all of the axes, you just hit Start All, and as the origin switches are depressed and released, the axes will now be origined, and when all of them are done, it takes you back to the home screen where we are now. So some of the neat things we can do in the home screen is we can jog the axis simply by clicking an axis, and now we can click and drag. On some monitors you have to keep your finger moving a little bit to keep the axis alive, otherwise it thinks that something just pressed the screen. You can also jog several axes together. So I got both x-axes moving together. I can also take control, let's take control of Z2. I can jog all those axes together. Jogging will stop as soon as any one of the axes hits a limit. So right there, we can see that X1 has hit its limit because we were traveling very fast. Your message screen will tell you that also. If I bring that up, you can see it says X1 cannot go beyond its limits. So if we slow down, jog says, okay, I can move a little bit more. This is a safety feature to where you won't crash your tools fast. I can turn on all the axes if I want. Move all of them together. Same thing applies, all the axes will move. Now my R1 and my R2 have reached their limit, so it stopped jogging. A and L1 and A and L2 are for BAM, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. So we can put down the message screen. To get out of jog mode, you simply just click the screen. We can jog the y-axis too. If you are jogging the back gauge and you click on the RAM, notice how it turns off the back gauge jogging. So you can only jog the RAM by itself or the back gauge, not both of them together. Same things applies. You can drag this down. It'll jog the axes. This tonnage box will let you jog with tonnage. One thing to watch on this, if I just type in the numbers 1, 2, 3, but I don't press OK, it won't take the value. This happens a lot more when you're using the keyboard. Like if I use my keyboard, clear this, okay. So if you're typing using a keyboard and you type 1, 2, 3, but you don't press enter, it's still going to think it's at 0. So make sure you hit OK or enter in order to jog under tonnage. You can jog up. These buttons on the end of the jog bar allow you to move in small increments. So by clicking it, it just moves a little bit. This also works on the back gauges. If you just click it, these parameters can be set up for you to how far you want it to move every time you push this button or this button. So it's all user definable in the parameters page. So from the home screen, some things you want to notice is your program up here. Vision will automatically load the last program that you've loaded. It gives you a brief description of what material, the thickness, and the size, and how many steps. We already showed the message screen over here. What we're working on right now is all these messages too. If you click them and you have the crystal ball on, if there's a video associated with it, it'll play the video describing what the message is. There's quite a few of them. This particular one, preventative maintenance, is user definable, so that's why it didn't have a video. Click that to bring it down. We talked about the hydraulics, servos, and clamping. Hydraulics is for the ram, servos is for the back gauge, clamping is your tools up here. We do have a commands menu over here. This is all user definable. Every screen that you go to on Vision, you can activate the commands button. So this is very nice. So if you're running a program and you need to turn clamping off during the middle, to slide your tools, and then to turn clamping back on, you can see this button and this button work together. This whole area is user definable, so if there's commands that we want to put in there that make your system better for you, it's a simple file to edit, and your service engineer can do that. Home screen is where we are right now. You have 3 programming modes: profile, flange, and position. Profile, the computer will do the most work for you. It just lets you draw a sketch. Flange, some of you might be more familiar with the term called angle mode. You just give it your bend and your angle and your tooling, and it figures out everything for you. Position mode is raw data. It is what the information is sent to the PLC. So everything is just numbers in position mode. There's almost no math is done automatically for you in position. You can program in profile and then go down into position to make changes, or you can program in flange and change them in position. Everything flows down very nicely. Some things even flow up, but that's limited. But always know that if you program in profile, you can edit it in flange, and you can also edit it in position. And that's it for the home screen.